Hey, what's up, friend? You are you interested in lack of skill? Yeah. Or maybe some suck. I'm just a new guy for the love of game. Wait, don't go. I know it's bad. Times have changed, but not mad. Don't you know that games are my thing? Yeah, I know it's getting real late. Come on, look at me. I even do storytelling. Also, podcasts on great game subjects. Okay, yeah, I'm not a Markiplier or a PewDiePie. But hey, that's what makes me so unique, right? 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 Well, howdy do, everybody. Welcome to the 700 subscriber special for a NikoTheLegend. I look like I'm wearing PJs, and you can't really see my Niko hat, but welcome, everybody. How we doing? Sounds about right. So, I finally got my webcam working. And I thought usually I kind of just bring it back for these types of podcasts. And, my webcam was kind of like that, dead for a while. And I just kind of, I don't know, sometimes it glitches out on OBS. But I enjoyed streaming games without a webcam on. It's really nice where I don't have to put up a front, some kind of facade or some, presentable whatever. You don't have to, honestly, when you're on a webcam, but sometimes, at least, I don't know, with me, I'm just kind of compelled to put some effort into it a little bit. I don't know. I could be just talking about nonsensical things. But I haven't done a webcam with the Niko show in a bit, because I've been kind of just recording it off live stream, just because I don't know. I was just kind of in that mindset at the time. I don't know. It was weird. And I was being really particular on how I wanted to do it, I guess. And I know there was some good reason. I just can't think of a good reason right now. And I've been having to do these podcasts for only 30 minutes, too. So maybe that was the main reason. I just didn't feel motivated enough to make a live stream out of it. Because I got to make it 30 minutes for when I put it in on Spotify and everything, because the website that I used to pay to allow my podcast to be on whatever provider, I can only go the cheapest route because I can't afford the $15 a month right now anymore. So I have to go with like 30-minute segments, because that's pretty much the amount of space that they give me. They give me at least 50 megabytes of free space to put a podcast in, and that's about a 30-minute episode. An hour is too many. An hour is like 70 megabytes or something, or 60. And, without video to it. I always keep, like, when you put a podcast on Spotify, it's just the audio file. There's no video files, obviously, on Spotify. But I'm going to try to, with this one in particular, since, Niko, hey, Mason, how are you, bud? Since we made it to the 700 subscriber mark, you're like, woo, pretty cool, right? Big deal. At least for me. The YouTube, the YouTube stuff is going up slowly but surely, and I'll take any victory I can get in these stupid times, right? So with this episode in particular, since it's a 700 subscriber special, it might be longer than 30 minutes this time around. Because I wanted to make this a very, usually I'm pretty gung-ho on what I'm talking about. I usually have plenty of stuff to talk about, like subject matters and related to gaming. But this one, I'm kind of going to go all around. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. And I hope to get the chat involved if we get enough people. So in the meantime, while we wait for people to come, I was going to just talk about something with myself on, like, where I've gotten in the past few years with the YouTube stuff, and like what's been going on with me in real life, and kind of the pros and cons, and discuss the journey that's led up to the 700 subscribers. And it might not even just be talking about YouTube in general. It's just going to be my boring ass life in general, just to kind of like fill in the silence, to fill in the gap, just something to get the ball rolling. So I hope to hear a lot of stuff about what you guys have to say. Now, if you're hearing this on Spotify, the podcast and stuff, then that's probably the best you can do. But unfortunately, since I'm not, I don't have a set schedule on when I do Niko Show podcast, so I can't be like, hey, come to my podcast at this time, and then you can say what you want to say. I don't have a set schedule right now. I could, since I have a lot more free time now due to a certain circumstance in my life that happened. I can't really talk about on here for a reason that's very personal. So with that said, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I mean, you're always welcome to check out NikoTheLegend on, Twitch, YouTube. I got the Discord links in my YouTube videos and stuff. It's just NikoTheLegend. But if Spotify is good enough as it is, or any type, whatever platform, that's what you want to stick with. I'm not gonna argue. I'd just be thankful that you could even fucking find me in the realm of the internet, podcasts, YouTube, Twitch. I mean, you pretty much name it, right? So all in all, I want this to be a very, laid back type of stream. Like I said, I want to interact with the audience this time around. If we get people, that'd be great. If we don't, that's fine. Like, I can make do with what I'm talking about already. Because there can be a lot to talk about with the stuff that I'm going to bring up here of how life has been for me leading up to the 700 subscribers. I don't know how far back I'm going to go when we're talking about this, but, we'll make it happen. So, yeah, I made it to the 700 subscriber mark on YouTube. I think, I'm grateful. I'm happy. Awesome. We're one step closer to 1,000 subs. 1,000 subs on YouTube is going to be a really big deal. I'm going to feel really good about it. It's on YouTube. I know in the grand scheme of things, I'm not, playing myself down like this. But 1,000 isn't that much compared to like these big shots out there. But like I said, you take whatever victory you can get and you roll with it. And you just got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. Just pretty much with anything in life, right? You got to, you have to just keep chugging along and then pray to the gods that maybe you'll hit the lottery one of these days, or someone shows mercy in the algorithms. They actually do care about what you have to say, even if it's something you don't agree on. But, apparently these days people don't. If you don't agree with their narrative, then you're not going to get too far, which is unfortunate. Or you can be like some people and just hit the jackpot and get lucky. Sometimes it happens like that. Those overnight success stories do happen. It's so rare, though. It's so rare. It's like getting a shiny Pokemon in Pokemon. It's, actually, getting a shiny in Pokemon is not as rare compared to getting anywhere on YouTube these days. Like, if you want to really make a living off YouTube, you kind of had to have done it a long ass time ago. So it's kind of like I'm almost like defeating myself in the process, bringing myself down, but I'm just being realistic with it, But with that said, it's a victory. It's working somewhat, It's a slow, steep climb. It's always going to be a steep climb for me because that's the type of person that's the type of personality I have. Sorry, I'm rolling around in my chair. That's how. It's the type of content that I'm releasing. It's my views on the world and yada yada yada. Like I said, YouTube picks who they want. They pick their sheep, their cattle that they want to make them the big bucks and stuff, and the rest of them are kind of just grazing, hoping for an opening into the cattle range of some kind. Right now, we're just all in an open field. If you're in my boat, but hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark is gonna be pretty monumental for me. It's going to be awesome because, right now I can't get paid for any of the videos I do, but if you hit 1,000 subscribers, you can start making income on YouTube. You can, get monetization. You got to get the stupid ads on your videos, which I'm sure people probably won't like. And you got to get enough traffic in your channel. And I think I get enough traffic in my channel. My videos, at least when I talk about all the informative stuff, they do really well. The Let's Plays and the Niko Show episodes, they're the bottom of the barrel. But that's just how it goes. I know I've talked about this a gazillion times, but I like to just not be a one-trick pony. I just don't want to see myself being a one-trick pony and just releasing all the same type of stuff on my channel. I want to be a little bit more diverse. I want the boring Let's Plays on there. I want that on there. I want people to know that I'm not just going to stick to what's going to work. I like to do things that kind of make it not easy for me to be too successful. If that makes any sense, you know. Because I could just drop the Niko Show podcast on YouTube. I could drop the Let's Plays and just do what's working. But I don't want to do that because it kind of makes me a sellout. It kind of betrays who I am on the YouTube platform or just anything, you know. For another example, when I used to stream on Twitch a couple years ago, I would stream Pokemon Randomizer Nuzlocke, and that would get me a lot of people coming into the channel, watching it and everything, getting follows and all that. And I was like, yeah, I could probably make my earnings from doing that on Twitch, but I can't just do that. That's just not my personality. I'm usually all over the place. I like to stream whatever I want, wherever I can, whenever and wherever I can. I don't like to just sit there in one place playing the same shit over and over. It just gets boring for me. And I tried it this past December with Pokemon, Poke December, and I could do it for about a week. Like I just can't do it. I didn't have much of a breakthrough audience. Didn't do that well. Barely anybody showed up, and you know, me myself, it was just kind of boring, you know. And you don't ever want to put yourself through that. It's just a fucking waste of time. So, with that said, like I said, this is going to be a very interactive stream, and I appreciate the first question from Mason. And Jake, how are you, bud? Welcome to... You are here for the very first Niko Show episode that you have seen, good sir. So welcome, Jake and Mason. So I'm glad you guys are here because, like I said, there's a lot to talk about. It's going to be fun, dude. This is going to be really exciting. And you guys don't really get to see what I look like. Usually I've done the webcam lately because my webcam has been glitching in and out because OBS likes to fuck with me like that. And that's just how it goes. So, ta-da! Alright, so Mason has a question here. What were the first type of videos I did on YouTube? Well, he says videos, but I'm going to assume YouTube. Now, okay. Now I got to go really back. So I had the YouTube channel since the beginning of YouTube. And here's how it went. The origin stories of Niko on YouTube, how I got from point A to point B. Before YouTube happened, I was on MySpace. And MySpace was literally like a YouTube at the time. Because MySpace, you know, you had your profile pages, you had your quizzes that you did, you posted the results, you put your favorite music on your site, top 3, 4 friends, top 8 friends. And then also you were able to publish videos on MySpace. So my first dabble into like any type of videos in general, editing software, anything in that regard, was at the height of Dragon Ball Z music videos. Yeah. My first videos were on MySpace, and they were mainly Dragon Ball Z music videos. So I'd find footage of Dragon Ball Z, make a montage out of it, and I attach a song to it, and I try to sync it up, making it really cool and special. And that was my humble beginning. I was making some mediocre Dragon Ball Z music videos. And then as the years went on, I got better at it. You know, that's just how it goes. Like, you get really, really good at making those videos. It's not as hard. It doesn't take as long. It's easier to do. You've learned the program. You learn which footage you're looking for. You're just established in that. And I was getting to that point, and then YouTube came around. Once YouTube came around, what, in 2006, I think, is when it came out? 2006, 2007, 2008. I think it was 2006. I posted 2 Dragon Ball Z music videos there, okay? I didn't know anything about YouTube in terms of creating your own account and getting the videos out there. I didn't know anything about search engine optimization, algorithm, any of that. Tags. I just posted 2 Dragon Ball Z music videos, and that was it. I didn't put any tags or nothing. I didn't think nothing of it. So when that happened, I didn't even care about my YouTube video at all. I just left it in the dark. Probably my biggest mistake of all time, because if I would have kept going with it, I probably would be a successful YouTuber right now, honestly. if I kept going on with it, if I kept making content, because it was in the early stages. And by the way, when YouTube was first released, there was a ton of videos already on there. So it was pretty crazy how many videos were already on YouTube at the time. So you take that and then you multiply how many days that have gone by since then, you get to today's standards, and YouTube is the most saturated fucking platform of all time in terms of videos and music and all that stuff. So if it was a lot back then, it is outrageous. It's like a million times bigger this time around. So I went away for a while. I didn't dabble with it at all. I didn't mess with my YouTube. I also remember when YouTube didn't have ads, for sure. And it wasn't until, okay, so I had an in-between channel. I had another YouTube channel. It was me and my friend Deal. It was when Let's Play collaboration channels were the big thing, because Game Grumps came out around 2012, and they were like the Let's Play channel of all time. They set the world on fire when it comes to playing video games and doing commentary with your friend, a good buddy of yours. And you wouldn't believe all the collaborations that people have done playing their favorite video games with their best friends and stuff. Seriously, like, people were so inspired by Game Grumps when it came to that type of stuff that they wanted some of that bread and butter too. So my friend Deal and I, we did that. We made our own Let's Play channel, playing video games, dicking around, whether it was funny or not, whatever. We made the most out of it. We didn't really get anywhere with it. We got to, like, I don't know, 100 and something subscribers, I think. It was really piss poor amount, because it was 2014 when we started doing it, and it was already too late, pretty much. It's like, you have to, when you see someone else do it, you have to do it right from the get-go. You have to get on the hype train real quick. Or you have to have already established, like, let's just say, portfolio on the YouTube platform. You already have to be somewhat popular to get it to lift off, or you just, perfect timing, or you just have to fit the algorithms at the time. Who knows? But it didn't really get anywhere. But we did it for about 2 years, 2.5 years, no, 3 years. 3 years we did it. It seemed like it lasted a long ass time. I feel like we recorded a bunch of games. Like I said, we had good times. We got better as commentators for these games as the years went by. So like our first half of videos we recorded, it was really raw, and like we tried to make it professional, but there was like some clipping of like audio. A lot of our humor was kind of forced. We weren't really like, we didn't have that flow yet. We didn't have that collaboration. It took a while to meld together. And then eventually we just got to a point where we just didn't care about the camera being on. We didn't care about making jokes just to make jokes. It was just us playing video games and just having a good time and making good banter. And it was funny as fuck. Like, seriously, I had so many good memories doing that. So anyway, after 2 years go by, or 3 years, I think it was 2.5 years. It was like the tail end of our Let's Play channel. Which was called Father and Son at the time, and then we did a rebrand and we called it Scrub Pub. Anyway, when we did the rebrand at the tail end of the Let's Play channel, that's when I started to post my own Let's Play videos, my own solo outings on NikoTheLegend YouTube. And you'll see, if you go to my earliest videos, the two earliest videos are Dragon Ball Z music videos, which are pretty good. If you guys want to check that out, if you like GBZ and music videos of that sort, you'll like the videos that I did back in the day. It was a long ass time ago. I'm proud of that stuff, and I hate how I can't get my MySpace Dragon Ball Z music videos downloaded or anything, because they're just gone. Like, they're just forever fucking gone, and it makes me sad. I put a lot of time and effort into those videos. I wish I could post them on YouTube just to have them. But I have the memories, and that's all, I guess. I guess that's all that matters, to be honest. Now, so earliest videos are going to be me playing video games, Let's Plays. I do some reviews of games that I play. They're more like subjective. They're more opinionated, and then instead of like factual and a bunch of research. So I try to be a little different in the beginning. I try to come up with interesting topics, but nothing was hitting until what was it? Until maybe a year and a half later, when I started talking. Like I finally realized, it hit me like a freight train. And I'm not saying I'm super successful on YouTube right now. I am successful in on a much smaller scale. I'm progressing slowly but surely, and let's just say I'm not gloating or anything, but in 2016 I had 50 subscribers, and for me growing to 700, which a lot of people grow a lot faster, but I still see it as a huge leap because that's great, right? I started being super active on my channel many, many years later after leaving in the dark for like almost a decade. And it wasn't until I started doing informative videos talking about Mass Effect, anything BioWare, Dragon Age, I found like my niche. I found the Niko thing I wanted to talk about, which was great. And it just kicked off. I wasn't expecting it. It started getting the view count. It was something that people were looking up. They wanted to know stuff. It was the informative stuff that YouTube really cares about, and that's the people. Those are the people that look for your kinds of videos. They don't care about the Let's Plays. It doesn't do them anything. Doesn't benefit them anything. If anything, the Let's Play stuff is just a bonus on my channel. If anybody wants to see a different platform style for Niko on YouTube, pretty much. So, and we get to now with me at the 700 subscriber mark. I hope it gets easier to get more subscribers, but I'll take whatever I can get these days, obviously. And I'm glad it's working still. I'm glad that what I'm doing is working, and I'm not gonna fix it. There's nothing to be fixed. I don't care if my channel isn't increasing tenfold with the amount of subscribers I could be getting. I don't care if it's gonna take a long time. If it's showing some kind of progression, I'm okay with that. Like I said, slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. It's not unbearably slow where it's just dead in the water and nothing is working. Like, obviously something is working, because a few years ago I had 50 subscribers. No. A few years ago, when I started to get back into YouTube big time, I had like 20 something subscribers, and now I'm at 700. So something's working, right? I mean, we can't argue with the numbers. That's the thing. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and eventually, my dream on YouTube is, like, the majority of the people that subscribe to me, they can appreciate everything that I do on there. I'm not saying you should look at every video that I do, but I offer something interesting on each video. I know Let's Plays are monotonous and saturated, but it's something different in case you get tired of me talking about just fucking BioWare related Mass Effect, gaming news, or if you want to hear the Niko podcast stuff. That's also a great thing. That's something that's more down to earth. That's more me talking about whatever that's popular or whatever I feel like I want to talk about gaming related at the time. This is a special episode because we're at the 700 mark, and we're talking about pretty much anything, anything that's not really controversial. I don't want to talk about that. That's not fun. It's never fun debating anybody on these platforms. It's a fucking waste of time, and nobody gets anywhere. It's just a dead end. It's fucking boring. So, Jake says, yo, cool, I have a MySpace account. Yeah, so, MySpace nowadays is so fucking different. It's basically a music channel now. Who took it over? I think Justin Timberlake took it over. Of all fucking people, he took over MySpace or something, or had a big say into deleting everybody's videos that they posted, all their content. And I remember reading about it. Like, I did this recently. Maybe like a couple months ago, where I was trying to look up my old videos and stuff. Maybe there's some way to salvage them. And supposedly they're on YouTube, because that's supposed to be like the transition process. Yeah, they're not on YouTube. I tried. I can't find them at all, and I'm really sad about that. Because you can click your video and it kind of like sends you over to YouTube. But all you get is like an error message on the YouTube video, and I'm just so heartbroken every single time. Because I would love to see these videos I worked on in the past. Oh my god. The Dragon Ball Z music videos were so fun to do. They, like I said, they were huge to do back in MySpace, early YouTube days, especially MySpace days. Oh my Christ, dude. There were so many people making Dragon Ball Z music videos because if you remember, Dragon Ball Z was at the pinnacle in the early 2000s. Okay, the late 90s is when they started out on TV and stuff on Toonami. If you guys remember how badass Toonami was, that was the place to go to watch anime and get introduced to. Before I even knew it was fucking anime, I just thought it was a dope ass showing really cool cartoons with a unique art style to it, right? So Dragon Ball Z was popularized not by obviously on Toonami and what the fans did of making those Dragon Ball Z music videos, putting those types of things on the web. It wasn't just the TV show because anime was so differently introduced back in the day. You didn't have your multiple streaming platforms. You had a set schedule on a certain network television program, Cartoon Network, Toonami. That was literally the only real place you can watch anime. Other times you have to go out and buy the videos and stuff, or if you're lucky, rent them. My first anime experience without even knowing was Fist of the North Star, Akira, and Guyver. And I had no fucking clue. I thought it was just sci-fi or cartoon stuff. I had no fucking clue. And this was back in the early 90s when I was a kid. I was like 4 years old when I first saw Fist of the North Star movie. That is the bloodiest fucking anime movie I've ever seen. It's crazy. Just heads exploding and all that stuff. It was such a great movie. What was your old MySpace? What do you mean by that? Just like the name of it? Should be just Nicholas Sorokin. My pictures aren't there or anything. Trust me, it's not worth the time and effort to look it up to stalk me like a creep.
Liar! Stop right there, criminal scum.
So, going back to talking about YouTube, shit, dude. In these past, I kind of wanted to talk about like the best of it was the worst of times, it was the best of times. I kind of really want to do that. Not just through 2020, but just life in general. Yeah, trust me, Jake. I've already done all that. Trust me, I've done all the troubleshooting and stuff, and it's just a dead end. But I appreciate you assisting in the matter, or trying to. So, in the past few years, a lot has happened in my life, and I'm not asking. This isn't a sob story or anything. I'm just coming up with stuff to talk about. Like, we can talk about anything, honestly. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, or any topics that are, I'm not gonna say kid friendly, but just not political or controversial, because I really don't want to fucking deal with that shit right now. It's just annoying. The internet's already fucking obnoxious about that shit right now as it is. So, boo-hoo, right? So let's go with like the past few years. Once I started getting back into the YouTube, started pretty much at like 20 subscribers and got to 700. What has happened, good and bad, in my life along the way? The journey. It's all about the journey, my friends. The destination is a good goal to have, but it's the journey that really matters, that really changes your outlook on life and you and what you're doing. And, our minds are always all over the fucking place. And for it to just stay on one thing for a very long time is very difficult. People change their minds day in, day out. No one ever has a set mindset for multiple years at a time or days at a time. That's just not, for me, that's how I'm wired. I can't just stick to one thing only. That's just not how Niko functions. That's just not my personality. I like to do multiple things. I like to be the jack of all trades, master of none kind of situation. And I'm okay with that. I don't need to be a master at something. Why? You don't need to be a master at a profession to make money off of it. You guys know that, right? Like, I'm a personal trainer teaching people how to exercise and stuff, but I'm not a master at it. I'm a professional at it because I get paid for it, but there's a difference. A master and a professional are two completely different things, okay? A master has the hours put into it. Like, what is it, over 10,000 hours or something like that? I might be getting close to that in terms of me working out, but teaching people how to work out, not even fucking close, okay? But I am a professional in that field. Doesn't mean I'm going to know every little single thing, okay? Just because there's, there's divisions of that field that I'm in that people know more than I do. So, I'm not going to know every single fucking specific body group, body type, muscle in your body and know the scientific name. Like, if I'm talking about your back, I'll talk about your lats. I'll point to it. I'm not going to go the latimus dorsi or some shit. Because nobody's going to fucking want to hear that. A fucking mansplaining answer from a trainer. Especially when you're teaching someone. Like, they don't want to know the scientific name. They want the jargon. They want the easy thing to jive with, And that's with anything. So, I just wanted to say that real quick. I kind of lost my train of thought. So, going back to what we're talking about. What are some things that have happened, good and bad, along the way? So, let's see, 2016. Let's just start that year on the big things, good and bad. Okay, so a big thing was probably a big good thing was just getting back into YouTube on my channel side of things, and we already kind of dabbled with that, but that was a big shift in the creative department. Because like I said, the Let's Play channel I did with Deal, we stopped working on that, and I kind of started doing my own thing, and that was okay. It was an easy transition, It wasn't anything strenuous or difficult, which is always nice. I got lucky on that. Life happens when two people in this collaboration, one wants to do this and one wants to do that. That's fine. Don't ever be chained down, especially when it wasn't successful in getting us anywhere. It's just like, we gave it a shot. That's just how it goes. Whatever. You got to move on. You got to swallow your pride and just go on to the next thing or something. So there was the YouTube channel. That was a positive. So that was that, and I'm trying to remember. Okay, I can list a bad thing. Breaking up with my ex-fiance. That was a life-changing event for me. It was a good and bad. The good thing is that I was able to break away from an unhealthy relationship type of deal. It was unhealthy on both ends. It just didn't work out. The bad thing is that the breakup had to happen. So it was the double-edged sword type deal. I had to find a place to live. I had to get myself back on my feet because I was living not in Florida. I was living in Georgia at the time with my ex-fiance with her parents. So I had to take as much stuff as I could from much as my stuff as I could with me in my car, in my fucking Honda Civic 4-door. Drive it 6 hours back down to Florida and pray to the gods that someone was willing to take me in. And good thing Deal was very kind enough to allow me to do that. Let me, because he understood the situation and stuff. It's not a fun situation to go through. Very boring car ride, by the way. It's just straight. It's just a straight line A to B. Nothing scenic at all. It was boring as hell. There was that, and then I had to find. I had to get my train of thought. Then I had to find a job. Get the financial stuff out of the way. Kind of just recalibrate myself, start over, and kind of just refresh myself and refocus. Kind of meditate in a way, and really sort myself out at that time because it was a troubling time. Breakups like that aren't easy. It's very hard to do, but when you do it, like you go in 110%, you don't back out, you don't punk out. If you have a gut feeling and your heart and brain actually agree with one another, if that makes any sense, like they're on the same page for once, because a lot of times you think with your heart too much, and that's a no-no. But your brain's always telling you the smart thing to do and the right thing to do. So I had my gut, heart, and brain on this subject matter to break it off, with the ex-fiance. So, yeah, and it's a tough decision. It's a tough pill to swallow, but you do it, and then life goes on. It's not the end of the world. Trust me, it's really not. Here is another question. What was the first recording software you used for gameplay? Oh God, Fraps. Oh, I don't know if Fraps is still in business, but it was a really ghettofied recording software. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not that great. Then we went to DX Tori, which was the next best thing. It was what people used before OBS even existed. So that was nice for a time. And then we used OBS. Deal and I went through a lot of recording stuff. But with our Let's Play channel, it was DX Tori. It was not OBS for a while. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think of another good thing. Getting a job, getting, like I said, getting the financial situation taken care of. That was nice. Finding a place to stay. I didn't have my drum set, so just shoehorning this in, since drumming was like my prime musical passion, pretty much. That was my go-to instrument. I couldn't bring my drum set with me because that shit took up way too much fucking space, and I had to wait until the end of the year. So I broke up with my ex-fiance midsummer of 2016, Midsummer's Eve, and then I got my drum set at the end of the year. So I had to. Yeah, was it the end of the year? I think so. Or it was like it was a while. I remember it being a while. When I finally got it back, I was super happy. What was your Fortnite console? What does that even mean, Jake? I need clarification on that. Oh. Okay. Someone tried to shaft you on the correction. Yeah, autocorrect is kind of lame sometimes. Wow, that's really weird. You must be on your phone, if anything. My first console. Oh my gosh. So okay, this is a good one. That was a good question. I like that question. So my first ever console, me personally, my bread and butter, got my name on it. Let's just say that hypothetically or figuratively. I don't know. Whatever. Was the N64. I was pretty much the N64 kid. The kid that screamed like a little girl when he got an N64 around Christmas time. If you haven't seen that video, you should definitely check it out. That was me, but on my birthday. So the N64, I got it, I think the same year it came out. Because, hold on a second. I gotta look at this. Bear with me. Okay, Star Fox 64.
Quiet online.
Okay, 1997. So I got the N64 a year later after it came out. I didn't get Super Mario 64. I got the bundle that came with Star Fox 64. Poor. My dad probably was poor at the time when he got me that because it's an expensive console. Actually, maybe it was. God, I forgot. Anyway, so I guess everybody knew how much I wanted the N64. I grew up playing my brother's consoles. We had the legit dope ass Atari, the brown Atari, like the latest model at the time. Original Nintendo and a Super Nintendo. But those were all my brother's consoles. Okay, so they were spoiled on that front. I was spoiled with the N64. That was the fucking console of Niko. That was the Nicholas console. And man, when I got that console, it was a good surprise. I remember the day of getting that console. My oldest brother told me like, "Hey, Dad got us an N64 or got you an N64. So when you go in there, scream like a little girl out of excitement." And I pretty much did that. It was really cringy, of course, but that's just nothing's changed with cringiness with Niko. It's pretty much the same schlock. I just don't scream as much. Actually, that's a lie. I scream quite a bit on stream. I don't even know myself anymore. Anyway, so I got it. Super stoked. Loved it. Let's just say I played that bad boy every single fucking day of my life as a kid when I was a wee lad. Let's see. So it came out in 97. 8. I was 8 years old at the time. Oh my goodness. 7 or 8. It was a really fun. It was a hell of a good time playing the N64. Talk about a console to really play with your friends. My God, that console invited people over to your house without even your consent. You know, because nobody's ever played a console like that with 4 players and stuff. That was the first time. I'm trying to think. Super Nintendo didn't really have 4-player games. The Sega didn't really have 4-player games. It was all two. It was 2 controllers. The original Nintendo. I mean, you get the picture. The N64 was the console to have to play with your friends. It was the memory-making console of all time when it came to couch gaming with your friends. I can't stress it enough. The amount of hours growing up with that console until, like, let's just say the next generation consoles came out, like the GameCube or the PS2, you know? I didn't get a GameCube until like 2 years after it came out. And I didn't get a PS2 until like 2005. So I was pretty far behind on that front. So the N64, either my brothers, like we had like a lot of big contending multiplayer games. So I'll get to that in a second on what I had. My brothers would they would go to their friend's house, like their best friend's house, and play the N64 all the fucking time. They would play it for so many hours. They were doing a bunch of stuff too, but for gaming with friends and stuff, they were either playing PC games together or they were playing the N64. And the games that I would play with my friends and they would play, my brothers would play with their friends, like they would take, it was sometimes I would lend them my games for them to take over their friend's house. So what games are we talking about? We're talking about Star Fox 64, GoldenEye, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Super Smash Brothers, WCW NWO Revenge, trying to think. Pokemon Stadium I got when I was living, that was later. But anyway, you get the idea. We had, they took over a lot of the multiplayer games and they were just playing countless, like, hours day in and day out. I was doing the same thing with my friends at where we were living at the time. I think, we were living in Missouri at the time. Yeah, believe it or not, I used to live in Missouri for about 8 years. Yeah. California before that for a year, and then after Missouri, California again for 3 years, 3.5 years, and then Florida ever since, pretty much since 2003. So, but the N64 stuck around with me. Like, I was playing that for the longest time. Like, oh my God, how many? From when I was 8 or 7 to age 12? I think it wasn't until I moved to Florida, because that's when. Okay, so 1997 all the way to when the GameCube came out, maybe 2001, 2002, or something like that. Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. Around that time, you got to remember, I was around that age. It felt like an eternity, pretty much, playing those consoles or just hanging out with friends. Like, life was it was really extended. Like, a day felt like a week, pretty much. That's basically how it was when we were kids. Time went by super slow, okay? And this is around the time where I didn't have any cell phones. The internet was just a baby, all that stuff. So time, time was going really slow besides playing video games in general. So my greatest memories, the games, like I said, I put so many, at least from my perspective, I put so many hours into these games that I owned. Like all the big multiplayer games, and then the single player games, like The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Ooh, you can bet your fucking dollar that I put, like, to me at the time, I thought I was putting like a gazillion hours into, because Ocarina of Time was my bread and butter, my joy. Like, I mean, there's a reason why it makes it into my top 3 favorite games of all time. Oh, Niko, what's your top favorite 3 games of all time?
Liar!
Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy IX, and Mega Man X. Those are my top 3 favorite games of all time. Those are games I played so much growing up. It's unbelievable. That I fell in love with pretty much. Those are games, and those are good games to recommend to people too. It's not like a Call of Duty game or some fucking tropey cliche like Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, oh, no. Just no. These are games that a lot of people can be actually really hooked onto and interested in, story related or just gameplay related. Anyway, so you guys are saying, when my phone autocorrecting, that kind of says a lot about me. Hey man, the texting autocorrect language is real. We get really complacent with that stuff, even if when we don't want it to happen and say we want, what's your Fortnite console? You're like, what? I didn't mean to say that. Shit. Now I just look silly. But autocorrect is a hell of a thing. My old science teacher brought in his N64 to school once. I played a wrestling game. Yeah. Dude, WCW NWO Revenge was my fucking, I still have that game. And that was seriously one of my favorite games to play on that console. A wrestling game. Because it was fun. It was such a fun game. And that's when I was really, really into wrestling around that time. PlayStation had like the WWF wrestling games. N64 had the WCW type games. I think WrestleMania was on N64. I think there was one game of it, or maybe I don't know. But I felt like PlayStation was where you played the WWF, or WWE games. Wait, what? Did I say it right? Yeah, World, or WWF. Whatever fucking name it is. The one with the Rock in it. Dwayne Johnson, that guy. Fuck him. Stone Cold Austin, drink beers or something. Blah, blah, blah.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
But wrestling games were the bomb back in the day. They did a really good job because sport games aren't easy to do, to imitate. Like, I hear the UFC games that come out are really bad. And the wrestling games are really fucking buggy and broken too. At least the 2K19 one or the 2K21, I can't remember. But anyway, having your old science teacher is great to bring in N64 because guess what, Jake? I had a teacher like that too that allowed us to bring in the GameCube, and we would play Mario Kart or Smash Brothers in it after we got done with our teaching and stuff. Oh my god, that was fun. My math teacher was pretty damn funny. He was like this fat, older white guy who was like a head coach of a football team, like a religious football team, or I don't know, out of a religious school called Holy Trinity, so that kind of gives it away. But he was so cool. Like, he was one of my favorite teachers in high school. Probably the only cool one. But he allowed us to, play the GameCube in there, which was really fun. And we never got in trouble. It's really rare that we got in trouble from playing the GameCube. I think because nobody fucked with him. He was just that cool of a guy, I guess. He got the job done with his teaching. He was a math teacher, too. Mason says mine was a learning console, then it was a Leapster LMAX, then it was a GameCube, then Game Boy SP, then DS Lite, then normal DS, then the Wii, then DS XL, then 3DS XL, now Nintendo Switch. Speaking of learning consoles, I never had a learning console, but I do remember in kindergarten, I think it was kindergarten or maybe first grade, that I did a lot of learning games myself, and I remember having a good time with them. I don't remember exactly how they went, but I remember having a good time playing those learning games. They weren't cringy. I don't know if that makes sense, but I didn't play any cringy learning games. Because I remember having a good time, and I think it was it was almost like a privilege to play computer games on the school computers. I mean, I saw it like that, where I was playing like a video game, because I didn't feel like I was just doing like 1 + 1 = 2, or A, B, C, D, F, G, like what letter comes after F? I don't think it was like that. I honestly think it was just a fun Flash game I was playing. Well, I call it Flash now, but it was just a very very cartoony learning game. I think it was a learning game. I don't know. But anyway, I believe I played, at least a lot of learning games. I never had I don't know what a Leafster LMAX is. I've never even played a learning console. But that is a good order of games, consoles you got there. You weren't too far, you know, behind me. You were just a generation behind me when it came to consoles. Like mine was an N64. And then shit, I don't remember who got the Sega Dreamcast, but oh my god, the Sega Dreamcast is a great console. I still have that console, by the way. It's that console was ahead of its fucking time. It's too bad Sega just got absolutely murdered by the PS2. Oh my god. But I don't know. I think the Dreamcast was a joint console with my brothers. But I didn't have a GameCube until okay. So the GameCube and I have a rough past. I was so indecisive with consoles and what I wanted. I was always okay. This is really stupid, but I think this was just puberty calling at the time because I was like so indecisive with what I wanted in life because it was puberty, a rite of passage. But I must have had 4 different GameCubes in my life because I would buy a GameCube and then I'd be like, oh, you know what? I don't want a GameCube. I want the original. I want my own Xbox. It was when the original Xbox was out, right? So I go to GameStop, trade in my GameCube, get an original Xbox. Oh, you know what? I don't want my original Xbox anymore. I'm gonna go get the GameCube again. And then my GameCube fucking broke because I kind of banged it against the road or the asphalt. Let's just say to get to my friend's house. One time I was visiting in California at the time. I had to hop over a fence. And I put my backpack down too hard, and my GameCube wasn't like cushioned or anything. The edge just like hit the ground a lot harder than it should have, and basically my console didn't work. But it turns out I took it into the shop or to a GameStop, and they gave me a refurbished GameCube for free. So that was good. My mom and I made up this bullshit story, so. I can't remember what she said. I think she said like it fell off a couch or something or off of a dresser. I don't know. Whatever. Some phony baloney story that they bought. I guess they were obligated to believe it, right? So I think because I traded for a GameCube when I was visiting my mom and friends in California at the time, and the GameCube that I got out of GameStop. I brought it back to get a replacement, and we explained what happened. Okay, now it makes sense. So, yeah, and then, oh my god, now this is the worst fucking thing. And Jake, I do not have any pets. I used to have 3 cats. Ex-fiance has 2 of them, and one of them died. And growing up, my brothers we had dogs growing up, but they were my older brothers, pretty much, his animals, but love them to death. Miss those dogs. They were great dogs. Pretty much, this is when living in Missouri on a farmhouse. We had farm dogs, farm cats, you name it. The whole shebang. So this is something that I still regret to this day, and I always tell myself to not have any regrets. But this one, I just can't let it go. It was the last time I traded in my GameCube. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th time. And I can't believe I did this. I can't believe it. Okay, so I was a fucking nut when it came to buying GameCube games. What was it? I like super binged on GameCube games. I was such a huge consumer on that shit. I couldn't help myself. Because there were so many good deals on GameCube games that I couldn't help myself. Like, I fell for the oldest trick in the book. I impulse bought so many fucking games. I still can't believe it to this day. So I had like a stack, like a giant fucking stack of GameCube games by the end of right before I did the stupidest fucking thing ever. So I just had all these games and everything. And I remember one time I bought like 3 to 4 GameCube games at the time, and I was just, one was like F-Zero GX, one was like Bloody Roar, it was a fighting game. I can't remember the other 2. But anyway, you get the idea. Sorry, one second. Let me drink some water here. So, What did I do to where I have regrets with the GameCube? I did the dumb thing and I traded in my GameCube, right? I didn't just trade in my GameCube. I traded in half the games that I got with it. And these weren't games that were just like third party or just like games you never heard of. These were like first party games, which I regret so much. I had Melee, I had Mario Kart, you name it. Like any first party game I fucking had. And I feel terrible to this day about trading in those games because it was like a dozen fantastic games. I still have a lot of spare GameCube games, but my collection is literally like cut in half. Like I felt so shitty about that. And I think I got another original Xbox or something like that. Oh my god. Like I don't know what was going through my fucking head. I was so mad at myself, or I'm mad at myself to this day doing that. So even to this day, leading up to this day, you know, in the past, I would still trade in games that I don't play. You know, because I'm like, I ain't gonna play this anymore. I don't need it. I don't ever trade in anything anymore. I learned my lesson because sometime down the road, I'm always like, fuck. I feel like I want to play this game. My friends are playing this game again. I want to play it. Shit, I don't have it anymore. So now I just don't trade in any games anymore. Especially when I know I'm gonna get like fucking nothing for it, like 2 cents for it. It's not worth it. I just keep it, let it take up the space, and who knows? I might have an itch to play it someday, or just collect it, let it collect dust. Whatever. Maybe sell it at a garage sale. But I don't trade in consoles anymore. I made a vow to myself I don't trade in video games anymore because if I do that, I felt like I wasted my money. I'd rather have it just sit there and just remind me of what to do and what not to do. But trading in those GameCube games was such a foolish mistake of me on my part. God, I still have a lot of really badass GameCube games that I didn't trade in. Thank God, that are really expensive to get. Like Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube is really expensive to get. At least last time I checked. If you, obviously, especially a brand new one. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is really hard to get, or really. It's not cheap to get on the GameCube on like eBay or, yeah, it's pretty expensive for used and new, especially new. Those are like the two main ones that I'm so glad I didn't trade in. Oh my god, because those are fantastic games. Good role playing games. Okay. When did you meet Mason? I met him like half a month ago. Actually, let's see. When did I meet Mason? Let me look at my Discord and when he joined Discord. That's a pretty good estimate. I think it's the beginning of December, honestly. Oh, no, sorry. At the end of December, 12/23/2020 is when he joined the Discord. So, yeah, he's just about as new as you, homie. Okay, so is the GameCube thing why you don't play Xbox? No. So I have an Xbox One. Okay, so here's the thing. I stuck with every generation of Xbox. I think I don't know what happened to my original Xbox. I might have traded that in. Whoops. So I stuck with the original Xbox. I still have my 360. I love the 360 to death. It's one of my favorite consoles ever. I bought an Xbox One, but I don't have an Xbox Series X. Let's just say Xbox is my least played console of today. I'm on the Switch a lot. You'll see me playing a game or using it for Funimation, at least today. For today, or just up to this point. The PS4 I'm always using, and I'm on PC. I just don't use the Xbox because I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, dude. So Funimation is great on the Switch. I like it. Is so nice that they put it on the Switch. It's so convenient to watch anime and stuff. It's great. The watching Funimation on computer and your PlayStation 4 is terrible. The app is not user friendly and it's slow as shit. On the Switch, they did a great job making it user friendly, and they kind of designed it. They kind of made it Switch friendly, which is great. So I'll watch anime before I go to bed, but I'll keep that shit on and fall asleep to it, and that shit will be running like almost all night. Well, not really all night, but until like the sleep timer goes on or the sleep mode goes on. So yeah, it's just really cool, super convenient. I'm so glad they put that on there, and it took me a long time to get subscribing to Funimation, and I'm like, why didn't I do this? Because I used to be subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and never Funimation. I'm like, oh my god, Funimation is fucking just strictly anime. Why did I not subscribe to it? Probably because I was watching the anime on Netflix, because they did have some good ones, like Attack on Titan was great. They even had Pokemon, Naruto, Bleach, Inuyasha, One Piece, and you name it, right? And then, so they had some original animes that were pretty good. Seven Deadly Sins. And then Hulu has some niche animes I've never heard of. And I was like, what the fuck is this? They had some anime I was impressed by. I was like, I didn't think Hulu would have this. I don't know why. I just don't. So, hey, Dre, welcome to the Niko Show, 700 subscriber special. Dre is a fucking legend. That man is a stalwart ally of mine. That man has seen me rise and fall and fall and fall and rise a little bit and fall even harder. But, he's a blood brother. He's teaching me how to be a killer in the ring. Not really teaching me, but he does give me good advice, though, if I ever have questions. So Jake asked, what other... Virgil Weeb Cell, yeah, pretty much. What other games do I play? Man, this is such an open-ended question. So if I had a main game right now, and Dre can agree with me on this, it's Cyberpunk. I just beat Cyberpunk a couple days ago. Fantastic time. Fantastic fucking game, despite what everybody's bitching about still. God, it'll just never end with this schlock train on that. Fantastic game. Fan-fucking-tastic game. I had a great time, and I'm not done with it. So you might see me playing Halo, Gears of War. My good friend in RL, bought me Shadowlands for World of Warcraft. So I might be getting into World of Warcraft train here pretty soon. I was playing a little bit today, but the servers crashed because too many neckbeards on it, I guess. But I got Shadowlands. Actually, pretty excited. It was a really nice gift of them to get me. My friend and his girlfriend, super super generous stuff. So I'm really stoked about that. So you might see me streaming World of Warcraft or playing it some more. I'm pretty stoked. So there's that. There's if my friend, I have a friend that comes over on the weekend sometimes, and we'll play like Pokemon together, like Sword and Shield. Fire Emblem Three Houses is a game that we'll play. So I'm kind of let's just say I'm all over the place. But my primary game right now, if anything, at least up to this discussion, was Cyberpunk. Like I said, Cyberpunk is a fun fucking game. It is a time drainer for sure. Because I was playing that game like crazy in the first week. First week, it was pretty heavy on the hours, and then like a week after that, it kind of like gets less and less each time. But there are still hiccups or still times where I play the game and I just get completely sucked into the story and stuff. And anybody who's played it, who's enjoyed it, knows what I'm talking about. Like, they know how good it is. Dre is a prime example. He understands where I'm coming from. Him and I... See, Dre and I, we talk about this type of stuff, like in Discord, and we talk about all the cool stuff that goes on in these games, especially Cyberpunk and stuff. So, it's fun to discuss this stuff, for sure. I'm still saving for the 75k frog legs. Yeah, for the collaboration. I mean, we kind of already done a collaboration. I think I might change that, honestly. because I've already done collaborations with people without even saving up for the frog legs. So Mason, I might change that. Not to burst your bubble, because you and I kind of collabed already. We've been playing Smash together. You know, you didn't have to do some stupid point system for that crap. I do collabs with my good friend Bonita Saint Wolven. She's a lot of fun to collaborate with, talking about Mass Effect stuff. Uh, you know, she's a new friend too, and I met her through my fucking N7 Mass Effect stream. God, that was good time, man. That was like one of the best streams I ever had. I was like, man, if only it could be like this on Twitch. It's interesting that YouTube was booming, and Twitch was just like fucking just dead in the water. There was like a few people watching on Twitch. But like my viewer count peaked. Like people watching at the time was like 50 something. Oh my god! Once that Mass Effect Legendary Edition teaser trailer came out, oh my god! Like it was on fire for the amount of people, like the amount of subscribers I had. You know, I think I was like at 650 or something at the time. You do chalupa collars too, don't forget. Right, gotcha. I actually want a chalupa right now, and I've been so fucking fat today. Shit. I had great homemade food at my friend's house. God. I stuffed myself pretty much. So, yeah, these are so Mason, I'm gonna try to replace the 75K. I just need to do it. So, I'll try to come up with something. I might not have anything for 75K. I think I have something for 50K or something like that. But your dedication is most admirable. I appreciate it. So I don't want to make it a wasted effort for you. I'll try to think of something stupidly clever, if that makes sense.
Liar!
All right, Anakin has spoken. I am a liar.
Fox, get this guy off me!
So, yeah, these are great questions. I appreciate that. Like I said, this is a 700 subscriber special. We can talk about anything that's I guess, you know, not fucking annoying and political and what everybody else likes to do at the time, and just be annoying and stupid. Yeah, that's boring. I don't want to talk about that fucking trash. So what I was talking about before, like the best things and worst things that happened in 2016. I think that pretty much sums it up, though. So just a recap: broke up with the ex-fiance, moved back, lived in with my friends, got a job, started back up the YouTube solo, Niko channel. So there was the pros and cons there for everything that happened that year. And so I think the biggest success thing I had happen to me in 2016 is when I made my Final Fantasy video. And I actually made an entire Niko Show podcast episode on that video, because it was such an undertaking for me. It was just a passion project. And if I was to do it now, I would have done a lot better job. But that's, you could say that about anything retrospectively. That's just the human condition, right? But at the time, it was a huge undertaking. It turned out to be a 46-minute video of trying to convince people why Final Fantasy IX is better than Final Fantasy VII. And it took 8 months to do, because it was like an off and on type project. And, I was just doing it when I had the downtime. I wanted to make it a very cohesive type of video. There was a lot of edits in it. I typed up an entire script for it. Just all this crap, like all this stuff. I went gung-ho with this, and that was like the biggest thing most productive thing I've done that year. And this day it's one of the most viewed videos on my channel, so that's great. 4 years later, like I can appreciate that. Well, 5 years later? No, 4 years. Sorry. Yeah. Because I released it in October or November, so yeah, like give or take 4 years and like a few months or something like that. And it's my cover video for my channel. Besides my intro clip, my intro video on my channel, it's on there, like being broadcasted. And I always recommend it. If you like Final Fantasy, you should check out the video. I still think I get the point across with that video. And you know what? A lot of people agree with me because the like to dislike ratio is way higher. So majority rules, right? The numbers don't lie. Unless there's favoritism and bias involved. But I don't know. The comments, I want to say, are kind of like a toss-up. I get people saying like, yeah, 9's way better. Like, no, you're on crack. 7's way better. You're an idiot. And then they'll be like, no, 8's the best. I'm like, well, we're not talking about 8, are we? Completely just missed the entire point. Anyway, so that's like, yeah, that's like the biggest good thing. Man, I almost forgot that shit. The worst thing was breaking up with the ex-fiance. The best thing was getting that video done. Oh my god, that is something I'll remember for the rest of my life. Now, at this time, I was still writing my book too. My book it was a hobby of mine. It was just like when I had the free time, when I was in the mood to do it. I try not to force myself too much to do it. And my book took me about 7 years to finish, which is, it may sound like a long time, but you'd be surprised how long it takes for people to finish their passion projects and stuff. Sometimes it takes like over a decade to do. This is how life is. This stuff on the side is, you have to make time for it, but you also gotta be wanting to do it, be motivated. And that's with like any hobby. Like you have to want to do it. There's no way it's ever gonna come to you. Like you have to put the time into it. And the best thing, I'll just say one of the best things that ever happened in my life is finishing that book. The next best thing is going to be publishing it and getting it out the door, getting it into a paperback format. I can't wait. So, you guys are going to, hopefully we can see it this year, published and all done, if I get the budget for it, to get it edited, to get it published. I actually do need a fucking illustrator. Oh man, I just noticed that. I could probably do the map myself. That's not going to be too difficult. But there is one depiction. There is a picture I need to be done because it's like a very, very important key element in the story. This specific picture that you have to see. When you read the book, it all makes sense. It's so key. I personally want to do a gameplay of Pokemon Sword with you for an online battle. If it's okay if you say no. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like Smash Brothers. I'm okay with, but for Pokemon, I don't know. That's the thing. Like I'm pretty competitive with Smash Brothers and Street Fighter and shooter games, but Pokemon, I don't know. I never got really into facing people online and stuff. I don't really care too much about it. Like, if we were, like, in the same room just hanging out or something, I'm just saying in general, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Because I've done that with my friend before, but I don't know. I'm just a weird human being like the rest of us. I just have weird philosophy behind the things I do. And I think a lot of people can relate. I don't know. Smash Bros is kind of addicting. Yeah. If you got a competitive fighting spirit, then Smash Brothers is the game for you. Street Fighter 5 is really fun. I haven't played that in a hot minute, but that's one of my favorite fighting games to play. Oh, God, it's really fun. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. 2017, good and bad things. Okay, good thing. I left the job I was at to get another job. This is when I started working at the hospital, and I worked at the hospital for 3.5 years, and they let me go right before the pandemic hit. Like literally a week before the pandemic hit, before all the shutdowns happened. It's pretty cool. Weird timing, right? It's like they fucking knew. What else? 2017. I know there's video games that come out in 2017 that I probably got really into, but that's too easy to remember, or that's like too common for a lot of us, right? I'm trying to remember like the life-changing stuff. God, I really can't remember. God. 2016, I remembered a lot more things because, there were some pretty easy events to remember. I was still writing in my book, of course. Let's see here. Okay, so maybe I'll come back to it if anything pops in my head. Now, 2018, I remember one big event, like cool event that, I wouldn't say life-changing, but it did some good in my life. It was a fun exercise, and it's actually going to be something one day. It actually already is something, and it's actually on Amazon right now. Just this really unrefined short story that I did that you can pay 99 cents for if you want to buy it. Or you can read it for free on your Kindle or something like that. Anyway, so as I mentioned before, the book Niko the Legend, how original, but Niko the Legend is my fucking magnum opus. That's where I get all my, names. That's where I get the name from. It's my book. And it's, I consider like Niko the Legend like a different, like, Niko was different in the book, the character Niko, compared to like how I am in real life, but I'm still like heavily inspired by the book Niko the Legend. It's my bread and butter, my magnum opus, my baby pretty much. But I still use the name anyway because I like it a lot. And for those of you that don't know what Niko the Legend's about, it's a coming of age story, about a normal set in a medieval fantasy world built from the ground up. Niko, who's this farm boy, gets this destiny thrown at his front door pretty much, and he gets swept along with it, and he's kind of obligated or forced to embark on this life-changing quest to rid the villain of taking over the world type deal. So it's kind of like that, like sword and sorcery type stuff. And you can only get the hero. The hero's journey is so cliche, but there's only so many different stories you can write about. A lot of the stories are going to have the same outcome, the same point to it, Anyway, so as I was still doing this, and I think it was 2018, I took a break from writing Niko the Legend because I was like, I need to step back a little bit. So what did I do in the meantime? I kind of wanted to experiment writing other stuff and to kind of own my craft a little bit. I never wrote anything like this. First time ever writing a book. It's a pretty bold endeavor, to be honest, because it could end up being the worst fucking thing I've ever written or the best. Even if it was average, I'd still go with average over piss poor any day. So I wanted to own my skills a little bit on knowing how to write a beginning and end of a story from point A to point B. And how did I do that? I wrote short stories that took place in the same universe as Niko the Legend, but at a different timeline or different time. And I'll just tell you right off the bat, you won't really know when you read it because let's just say, it's not as obvious on like what theme and what genre it takes place in, like Niko the Legend. And especially because Niko the Legend, you go with first person, you go with third person, second person, whatever, all the different perspectives. These short stories, which I named called Rumor Killer, and it's exactly what the name suggests. Okay, this person's out there going to kill the rumors that people are talking about, see if it's true or not, right? Cool premise. Kind of like a thriller, suspenseful type story. But it takes place all in first person, and you don't, and it's the details aren't forced. It's not down your throat. It's not really explained to a level of detail as you would like an actual novel, just because it's more of a first person perspective, and it's just the way the story is told. You know, it's through the eyes of this character. So if it comes up in conversation in the stories, it's fine. So with that said, I wrote about 4 short stories, like a little tiny compilation, if that makes sense. Yeah, like a little compilation of this one character just going on different adventures, trying to solve a rumor, these different rumors. You know, it can take this person anywhere, and it was the perfect thing to do for me. Like I said, to own my craft from getting from point A to point B in a story, just knowing how to start it and knowing how to end it, because that's hard to do. To have, you know, starting a story is not that difficult compared to ending it. Ending it on a good level is pretty difficult to do, because that's where it matters the most. That's where all your hard work is paid off, hopefully. And it's like, you did it. You get a good ending, right? Sometimes it's not like this. Sometimes you get really, really shitty endings or cliffhanger endings and all that crap. And people don't like that if you don't execute it properly. So, with that said, I got that done, my short stories, and then I published the first one. It's called Need More Lumber, and you know, this one talks about the main character trying to solve a rumor of this axe murderer, of this person who was accused of being that murderer that's killing people and all this stuff. Okay. So you get to see if it's true or not in the story, and it was a lot of fun to do. It's the longest of the short stories because it's the introduction to this character and what this person does. The short stories that follow are not so long. They're, you know, less than 10 pages. Let's just say that for all of them. And that's like, I think that's like double space too. So they're really not that long. They're all stuff you can do in one sitting, which, you know, quick reads are really fun. So yeah, I got to publish that year of 2018, the first short story of the compilation, to kind of just just throw this out there. So I was pretty proud of that. It was, like I said, it was a lot of fun to do. It was like every story of that compilation, every short story was like a brand new adventure, a brand new episode. I felt like I was writing it for a TV show or something, for a company that was wanting to do a TV show. I had to like think of all these different scenarios that this person can go on. I'm like, what rumors can this person tackle this time? You know, Niko the Legend wasn't too difficult because it's kind of like the same premise through, in and out of, the story being told. Obviously, in Niko the Legend, you got to invent new characters, new cities, environments, monsters, philosophies. That's fine. That's not as difficult to do compared to like coming up with brand new stories each time you get done with one. And I was pretty dedicated to getting these short stories done. I set myself up for I put a deadline for myself because I wanted to pretend like I was being paid to do this. I was like, all right, let's do it. And I got it all done in like 3 weeks, I think. 3 to 4 weeks, all these short stories. And I would write every other day, I think. Yeah. I think it was every other day. I think I got it done in 3 weeks. I believe so. And once it was done, like I said, I got it all done in 2018. It wasn't that long of a time. It was great. And it feels good to publish one of them out there, and then eventually, like, I was going to have it all published at once, but then I started to dabble into Niko the Legend, and I was like, I kind of flipped the script. My cat died. This was like a year later. In 2019 is when my cat died, and I was getting close to getting my book published, but the main bottleneck was, besides my cat dying, I had to pay an illustrator to get a book cover done, and that was like $500 this person was asking. That was $500 I had to use for my cat's surgery and stuff, and then I had to put the cat down. So I was pretty much screwed on that, and that got delayed. So that ship sailed without me for a while, for the time being. Now it's flipped to where I want to get my Niko the Legend book published first, and then Rumor Killer published. So it's interesting how life throws some horrendous curveballs at you, because no one should ever have the choice to want to put their cat down or not. I don't like, not to go on a rant here or go on a little trip. I don't ever want to have that choice over life like that ever again, of choosing when I want to put someone down or not, pulling the plug. Let me say something. Fuck that. It's not a laughing matter, but it's just like a nervous laugh type deal, or just reaction. Yeah, you never want to do that. It's not a fun feeling. But anyway, that was one of the worst things that happened to me in 2019. We're going to skip to that year. Couldn't get my short stories published, and I had to put my cat down. Yikes. And, no, that was 2020 where I lost my job at the hospital. So, but yeah, the best thing in 2018 that happened to me was getting those short stories done. And let's not forget, the YouTube channel was growing around this time too. That was also a good thing. I was seeing some really good progression. I think 2017, 2018, I had around like 200, 300 subscribers. And look at me now. A couple years later, 700. It's like, I'm like having like a healthy increase. I'm not having like an astronomical, like someone paid YouTube to give me like an A+ for my channel to where it just gets like a huge amount of subscribers. It's like the most realistic subscriber count you can get for somebody like me, I guess, where it's just nice, good, steady flow. It's not over the top. It doesn't make it look like my channel's greedy in any way. It's like a really modest amount, especially with the type of content that I release, So, I mean, if you guys have any things that were life-changing for you, or any really fun stuff that has happened to you, if you want to talk about that, you're always welcome to if you want to relate. Also, if, now this is none of my business, obviously, but if you have some shitty things that happen to you that you got through and stuff, and you're willing to share it with the internet and with me, I mean, that's fine, but you don't have to, obviously. But if you want to relate, you can. I'm not going to judge anybody here, as long as it's appropriate in a way and not fucking heinous or something, or fucking cuckoo. I mean, I already say enough heinous shit on this channel when I'm hanging out with Dre and Jeremy. We say the fucking dumbest shit ever. But it's not like sinister or malicious. It's just us being stupid. Well, I'm always being stupid. I don't know about them. I can't speak for them, but... Mason says, I will get it. The Book of Niko. Yeah, the Book of Eli. The Book of Niko. Yeah, I love talking about, writing and books and literature and reading, just anything literature related like that. Writing, I always recommend that people should write some kind of story in their life. It doesn't have to be a novel. It doesn't have to be a short story, like anything, something that you can that can hold itself up against the sands of time and handle the test of time. The legacy of Niko. When I pass, my book will still be there for people to know how I felt writing this book and where I was coming from and what message I was trying to portray and get out there. It doesn't just have to be kids to immortalize your bloodline or legacy. You can, so many other ways of doing that. That's what's so great about art and being creative and just being productive. It's just awesome. Really, really awesome to have something like that. Niko the Legend the book is one of the most important things that I've ever done in my entire life. if not the most important. Like, to me, I think it's more important than graduating from a fucking university, because that's easy to do. I mean, that's so basic these days. It's unfortunate, especially if you're getting a bachelor's degree. That's basic as fuck, unfortunately. Same thing with getting a master's and a PhD. That's also basic. That's not the cool thing to do anymore. I mean, I'm not saying writing a book is the cool thing to do, but how many friends do you know that have written books, right? And have completed storylines? I only know a couple people that have, done written works, like novels or short stories, and have it done. I've only known, there's not too many of them out there. A lot of times, the more people I've known are the ones that know how to draw and paint and done the more artistic side of things, like illustrations and all that. But when it comes to writing books and stuff and stories, that's a whole nother level. That's more of an outlier. Music is art too. I've known plenty of people in my life that have dabbled with instruments. Instruments aren't that unique either. I mean, I guess you could say that about anything, but I've known a lot of people who have messed with, that have gotten really proficient with instruments. I mean, I used to be in a punk band. That was an interesting experimental thing. That was fun to do, being the drummer in a punk band. But people writing books and stories and all that, I seldom saw that in my personal experience. So, the book will make millions. Let me call it Jeff Bezos. Hell no, dude. Jeff Bezos would never have the brains to write anything like that. He's a fucking lizard. He's a lizard. He has a lizard brain. That guy's a fucking menace. Not to sound all emotional about it, but that guy is a fucking... Oh, man. That guy is a corporate shill. He'll not to get too political, but he'll, instead of giving his helping his employees out to through the pandemic and stuff, and this is a guy who makes billions of dollars, okay? He fires them. I'm like, okay. And then he goes out and donates millions of dollars to a fucking stupid ass charity. And he probably didn't even go there himself. He probably had someone do it for him because he's a lazy asshole. But, he's okay with firing people and putting them on the streets. Let's just say that. God. Fucking tech companies and companies like YouTube, Amazon, and fuck those things. Apple. Big tech companies can eat my ass. I had to put my pet dog Jake down. Aw, so that's why your name is... Wait. Oh, I was thinking, okay, Jake's the one that puts his name Jake in Smash Brothers and has a picture of Jake. I think that might be an Adventure Time reference, though. But also, Jake, anytime I see Jake for a dog, I think of the Jake the dog from Adventure Time. Liver cancer's been 3 years since his death. Dang, dude. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, so you know where I'm coming from, for sure, man. Sorry you had to go through that. Condolences. An animal is a precious thing, for sure. And, it's really easy to get choked up on that stuff. Real easy to get emotional. Because, like I said, the power to... I never want that power to control life like that. Nah. It's just too sad. Too stressful. But yeah, Jake's on the right mind. 1 second, be right back. Hey, you don't tell me 1 second, alright? The show goes on. In fact, 1 second to you. I'm just messing with you. So, yeah. And, yeah, it was one of the saddest things that happened to me in 2019. Yeah. That sucked. Lost a bit of my dream, and I lost a good friend. I lost on two fronts, which is Never a fun situation. Actually, I lost on 3 fronts. I couldn't publish my compilation. I had to put my cat down, and I couldn't go to New Zealand. I know it sounds random, but I'm just throwing that out there. But I had a planned trip to go to New Zealand, but I couldn't do it because I had to pay for my cat's surgery and then putting him down a month later after the surgery. So I was pretty much like $1,700 in credit debt. Woo! Gnarly, dude. So cool. Moving on past that, we can grieve all we want, but that's not what we're here to do. Well, I guess we are talking about the good and bad. So I guess I set myself up for failure already. Now, with YouTube, I have a set goal in mind, and I just want my YouTube channel. I don't want to. I'm not gonna go with the biggest goal. Sure, it would be cool if I got over 1,000 subs. It would be cool if I got over 100,000 and then 1 million. Okay, whatever, and then I can live off my YouTube channel because it was one of my hobbies and a great passion of mine. Fantastic. But I don't want to make a career. It's not my career option. You want to know what my career options are? Making millions off my book. I would love to live off of my book that way. That would be awesome. And then spend the rest of my life writing stories and stuff. That would also be awesome. But it's a gamble for sure. But you gotta start somewhere, right? You gotta get it out into the public, and you never know, right? I always try to go with that. I try to be cautiously optimistic. Now, the other one is making a living off of personal training. I want to get somewhere in personal training. I want to get the clientele to live off of that income to where that's all I do is just train myself in the fitness field, when I work out myself, and train others. Because doing a job that you're passionate about is so fucking easy. You guys don't understand. When you get to a job like with me, that's like a trade almost, because you can teach somebody this no problem. You can start a business with it. I mean, it is a trade or a craft or a set of skills, I guess. Because not everybody knows how to do this. This is why they have personal trainers. This is why they have carpenters, tailors, all those different types of professions. Those are all, like tailors and carpenters, those are all trades and stuff. I consider personal fitness an art form too in that regard, because there is a master, or I guess a professional and an apprentice, or a student, or master and an apprentice when it comes to that. So my point is, I want to get the personal training career to lift off. I want to get somewhere with it. Not famous or anything. I just want to make a living off of it. Doesn't have to be like I want to make millions off it. I just want to make enough to where I'm comfortable. I got money for expenses and stuff left over, and that's all I'm doing. Because like I said, when you got a trade or a passion like that you've been doing for so long, that you grew up with, it is so easy to teach others proper technique like that. Trust me, so easy. So when you find that passion that you love doing day in and day out, and then you get paid for it, it's a double whammy. It's jackpot. So, with the clientele I have now, I need more, obviously, and the more I get, the better, and the closer I am to getting to that, And speaking of which, I'm gonna go on this full force, like, I wouldn't say campaign or anything, but this whole motivated, I don't know, movement, I guess, where I even have like a personal assistant now who offered to help me out. She came to me because I told her what my situation was going on in my life financially, and she's like, and this is something that she's majored into, like business and stuff and marketing and all that. So she wants to help me out. I'm like, how could I say no to someone who wants to help me out with that? To where I can, it works both. It benefits us both. Help me help you type situation. I'm okay with that. So the goal is to get that exposure, on social media platforms, do virtual coaching, which is a thing that I'm going to take full advantage of because nobody is really doing that in my gym. So I want to be the prime candidate for that, make some good money from that, and then just getting more clientele in general, and just making myself professional as possible when it comes to getting that promoted. Yeah, let's just say a promotional campaign, I guess you can call it. Because that'd be a lot of fun to make a living off of that. Hell yeah, batch. And then fitness director would be awesome too. Then I would really be a master of my craft, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So, Jake's asking, do you travel? No, not as much as I would like to. Once I make a comfortable earning where I can get back to where I was when I was working at the hospital and personal training, I was making some pretty good money and stuff. I was comfortable. Nowadays, I'm in the shitter when it comes to money. Trust me. I'm in the shitter. So I'm doing my best to stay afloat. And I don't know how I haven't lost my marbles. I don't know how I haven't picked up meditation, because when I go through some really tough times in my life, I'll do meditation. When I had to put my cat down, I did some meditation. I know it sounds kind of weird, because it's like, oh, meditation, what are you, some kind of monk or something? But hey, believe it or not, meditation's fucking great when you know how to do it properly. Very stress relieving. And I started doing meditation back in like the early 2010s, and it got me through some heavy stuff in life. And yeah, when I had to put my cat down, meditation picked back up. I'm surprised I haven't done meditation lately, because I have a very good excuse on why not to, but I haven't broke yet. I'm not at the tipping point or the breaking point yet. I'm at the tipping point, but not breaking. So it's okay. I was put down many times. Wow. Sorry to hear that, bro. So, that's just how it goes in life, though. So there's nothing I can really do about it. Well, so this was fun. I had a great time doing this. I think we're going to do some final thoughts. I wanted this to make there was really no subject matter. There was just kind of free verse. I just had something to, filler if nobody was talking or anything, like talking about the best things, good things that happened in my life that led up to the 700 subscribers. It was good fun. You guys did great. Appreciate your guys' input and questions. It means a lot. And your comments. And, I can't wait to get to 1,000 subscribers, because we're going to be back here again talking about, what it took to get there, I guess. Probably repeat myself. Maybe it'll be an echo chamber episode. Whatever. I don't care. I can't wait. So, thanks again, everybody, for the support. I don't have to say love. Love and support is just kind of cliche. But
you're gonna see what Joey Wheel is
for the
all
support,
about.
You guys are great. I'm trying to get Twitch to go hand in hand with YouTube and stuff like that. So if you guys are out there listening, if you find this video out there in the dark web, if you find it on YouTube, on Twitch somewhere, on Spotify, just wherever, I don't know, in your fucking toilet, because sometimes, my humor and content is toilet humor, and belongs in the shitter. Anyway, just kidding. Haha. Besides dumb jokes, there's plenty of places to find me, and I will appreciate that time you took to at least hear me out for a little bit. I don't care how long your attention span is. I'm just glad that you were able to find me. So, I've been your host, Niko the Legend, also known as the One-Manner Teenager, and it has been a pleasure, Pathfinders, to help celebrate. You guys helping me celebrate the 700 subscribers special, and it's only going to get better from here. I'm going to make it happen. So I will see you guys maybe at the 1,000 subscribers, maybe at the 800 or 900, whatever. You guys will definitely see me streaming, that's for sure, because I'm addicted to streaming.